bands, I would put them on now. You're going to need, if you have something, a type of weight, either a dumbbell or a kettlebell or 2 dumbbells. And then if you have a heavier band and a lighter band. Again, if you don't have 2 different bands, that's totally fine. But if you do, I would have all of that available.
All right, it's noon, Leah. Whenever you're ready, I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm going to show you guys the first 2 exercises. We are going to repeat it. So we're going to do the first one, the second one, and then go right into the first one and the second one. So the first one, you're going to need a band above your knees, and you are going to hold a glute bridge. So, and you are just going to hold. Keep the tension on the band. You can either have your arms here, you can have them flat, and you're just gonna hold and keep your hips up. The second thing, you are going to need a table or something you can put your feet on. Keeping the band on, you will go up, open, close a little, and down. Up, open, close a little, and down. So we have a minute for each exercise, and there will be 15 seconds in between. So you guys can get your bands on, make sure you have something to put your feet on. All right, everybody, I'm starting the timer, and go. So getting into a glute bridge, hips are up high. Keep your knees apart, driving through your heels. And just make sure that you keep squeezing so that you have the tension in your glutes. "30 more seconds. If you feel this too much in your hamstrings, I want you to move your feet closer to your butt. If you feel it too much in your quads, I want you to move your feet a little bit further away from your butt. All right, everybody, feet up on top of whatever you have. Remember, you are squeezing up, open, close just a little, and down. Up, open, close a little, and down. You want to feel this on the side of your glutes. When you squeeze up, make sure that you are rolling your hips up, like you're rolling your butt to the back of your knees, as opposed to flinging your hips up. So roll it up, your glutes are nice and tight, open, close a little, and down. Roll it up, open, close a little, and down. You have about 15 seconds, then we are going back to the glute bridge with your feet on the floor. God, we have so many people. This is awesome. All right, feet on the floor. You're gonna go back into a glute bridge, just holding your hips up, really making sure that you're keeping tension on that the whole time. And you are just holding and squeezing your glutes. And go.
Good, so Melissa, you're just holding, not thrusting.
What?
You're just
You're not
holding your
thrusting?
hips at the top.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, sorry.
All right, you're putting your feet on top of your bench. Think that you are rolling your glutes up. Open, close a little, and down. Good, make sure that you are pushing through your heels. We have about 15 seconds. Good, you can come down and rest. We are moving on to the second exercise. All right, for this one, if you want to use a band, you can. You can either use your heavier one or your lighter one, or you don't have to at all, up to you. You're gonna come down on all fours, either on your hands or your forearms. You are going to extend once, fire hydrant once. So extend. Now, whether you want that to be straight up, whether you want that to be straight up this way, I do not care as long as you feel it in your glutes. So it's 1 and 1. 1 and 1. Then we'll have the 15-second break. You're going to switch to your other leg. Then we'll go back and then back. All right, so starting in 9 seconds. So 1 hip extension, 1 fire hydrant. Make sure you're not dipping your back too much. Push up or come down onto your forearms. You have 20 seconds on this leg. You are, unless you want to be an overachiever and just get right into it. And go. So 1 hip extension and then 1 fire hydrant. So same thing that you just did on that other leg. Thirty more seconds. Good, take your time, do not rush through the movements. Good, we are switching back to the original leg, same thing. Starting in 5 seconds. Thirty more seconds. And we are switching to the other leg. If you are feeling this in your lower back, I want you to make the movement smaller. Make sure that you are using your glutes. Make sure that you are pushing up into your back and keep it small. It doesn't matter how high your leg goes as long as you are feeling it in your glutes. Twenty more seconds. Anytime that you are training glutes, it's really important to make sure that you're not using everything else, like your hamstrings or your lower back. So keep things smaller and make sure that that's where you feel it. A lot of times I move a lot slower. And you guys can rest. For the next set, you do not need a band. If you want to use a band, you may, but you do not have to. But you will need either a dumbbell or a kettlebell or something like that. I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. So standing with my heels together and my toes out, I'm going to do an RDL. So I'm going to have soft knees, slide my butt back, squeeze it up, step wider, same exercise. Slide it down and up. Then I bring my heels together. Slide and up. Slide it back and up. From the side, what this looks like. Slide up. So I'm sending my butt back and up. So I alternate between my heels together and then wider. This second exercise, you can either use the same weight or a different weight, but kickstand. So I take this back heel and it's up. Same movement. Slide, switch legs. Slide it down and switch. So, are you guys ready? We will start in 10 seconds. So the first exercise, your heels are together, your toes are apart, and then we go wider, together, wider. Do not try to touch the ground. I want you to keep this in your glutes. Also, do not stand up and jerk your back like this. I want you guys to roll it up. Keep that tension in your glutes. You have 20 seconds. Good, so now we're gonna go to the kickstand single leg. So the one heel is up. You're going to slide the weight down and up. Then switch. Slide and up. My legs are not very far apart. See, this knee is almost even with the front one. And up. Good, going back to the first exercise. So heels together, toes apart, then wider. Again, keep it small. And when you roll up, just think that you want to keep that tension as much in your hamstrings and your glutes as you can. "15 seconds. These look really good. Good, and switching to the kickstand, single leg, one more time. Starting in 5 seconds. With these, I like to pause a little bit at the bottom so that I really feel the tension and then squeeze up. I do that with pretty much every exercise. I just add that little bit of a pause, make sure I'm driving through my heel and squeeze it up. You have 30 more seconds. Good, weights down, grab some water if you need it. For this next part, you are going to need a dumbbell or kettlebell or some type of weight, and then a band. If you have a heavier band, this would definitely be the time to use it. So you're gonna put your band above your knees. You're gonna grab your weight. It doesn't matter to me how your feet are, whether you want your heels together, whether you want it a little bit wider. What I don't want is your feet wider than your knees. If you are struggling to keep your knees apart, bring your feet together, because then otherwise it's baby giraffe legs. So laying all the way back.
and you can push the weight up onto your thighs a little bit. You are going to squeeze, and you're going to hold. 3, 2, 1. Bring it down, squeeze. 3, 2, 1. That's going to be for the first. Then you'll put your weight down, and your feet are going to go on top of the bench. Put them close together, either your heels touching or just your feet together. I want you to drive your knees out. Start at the top, and from here, I want you to push your knees apart as hard as you can at the bottom, and then squeeze really hard. Drive them out, and then squeeze at the top. So we will go through those 2 exercises 2 times, starting in 10 seconds. So grab your dumbbell, lay back on the floor. Squeezing for 3 at the top. 3, 2, 1. Make sure that you're really driving through your heels, and that same thing where you roll your butt up towards the back of your knees. Because this just works your rib cage. So roll it up and then let it down. "20 seconds. Good, so dumbbells down, feet on top of your bench. Feet together. Start at the top. And remember, you want to be pushing out at the bottom as hard as you can, and then drive through your heels and squeeze. And get a good squeeze at the top. Don't move so fast that you lose it. Think quality reps, not quantity. Good, so as hard as you can push your knees out at the bottom, and then you squeeze it up. Good, going back to the glute bridge, grab your dumbbell. So feet on the floor, I do not care how wide they are as long as your knees are out. Good, driving through your heels, squeeze up for 3. Good, Megan Ellerman, try to get your hips just a tiny bit higher. Think rolling your butt up. Good, you will know if you're doing this correctly if it feels like the weight is coming more towards your face, as opposed to just sending your hips up like this. It's like you're rolling it towards your face. Good, feet on top, putting your feet together. Driving your knees out and then squeezing it up. And go.
Good, make sure that you're really pushing through your heels, not the middle of your foot, not your toes. I'm really appreciating the camera placements from some people. Thank you. You have 10 seconds. Good, you can come down, grab some water if you need it. All right, the last set of exercises. If you have a lighter band, you may want to use that for this. If you do not, that's totally fine too. But you are going to need to stand up for this one. And you are going to do alternating lateral lunges. So sit, bring it together, sit, bring it together. I do not need you to make this a huge movement. I just need you to feel it in your butt. So take a step, sit back into it a little bit, bring it together, and sit. I like to plant my foot first. It's just less reckless than just throwing your body. So I plant it, sit back, and bring it together. The second exercise is slide squats. So my knees are bent, I step, 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 step. Not this, we're not dancing. Take a step, bring it to meet it, step, bring it to meet it. You want to keep the tension as much as you can with that. So starting in 10 seconds. So first, those lateral lunges. And then the other side. Y'all, if you have the opportunity to go outside today, it's beautiful. Good, so again, don't worry about how deep you're going. You just want to feel this in your butt. Don't drop your torso too much. 10 seconds. Good, now we're gonna move on to the slide squats. So a little bend, and you're gonna step, step. Challenge yourself, try to take like a wide step when you do this. But again, don't be baby giraffe legs. If you can't keep your knees apart, don't step that wide. Good, try to stay pretty low the whole time. Make sure you're not standing up too much in between. "15 seconds. Good, going back to the lateral lunges. So again, keep it small. For those of you that haven't trained with me before, I'm all about doing this for a long time. I don't like anybody to get injured. There's no point in trying to be a hero. You feel it? Good. Take a step. Good, Lynette, keep your chest up just a little bit higher. Good, better. Megan, I like your use of the dog as weight. Good, you are moving on to the slide squats one more time. Good, Dirks, try to keep a little bit of tension in the middle. So like when you bring your leg to meet the other one, just try to keep that little bit of tension. Good, 15 seconds. Good, everybody take a rest, grab some water if you need it. So now we went through all 5 of those. We are gonna go through one more time, except this time, it's only 1 time per superset instead of 2 times. So the first thing we're doing is a bridge hold. So you have the band and you're just gonna hold and squeeze your glutes at the top. Then your feet go on top and you go up, open, close a little bit, and down. So we will start in 8 seconds. So bands are on. Push your knees apart and you are just holding, keeping your hips up, making sure that you are squeezing your glutes, pressing through your heels. If you want, you can reach up towards the ceiling or the sky. Good, you have 25 seconds here. Girl, you're on camera. Good, you're putting your feet on top of your bench. Rolling your hips up, opening, close a little bit, and down. Again, you can reach your arms up if you would like. "25 more seconds. Good. We are moving on to the hip extension and the fire hydrant. One time on each side. So again, keeping it small, making sure you're not using your lower back. Height is not important. You have 20 seconds. So again, either up in a plank or down on your forearms. Good, switching to the other leg. You have 20 more seconds. Nadia, make your band a little bit closer to your knees. All right, so again, if you want to keep your bands on, you can for this next part, or you do not have to. I'm going to pause the timer. You are doing the RDL, RDL. So with the band, it's just going to give you a little bit extra tension if you want to keep it on. It's completely up to you. So starting in 8 seconds. So heels together first. Slide, squeeze up, slide, squeeze up. Again, make sure that your knees stay out and they're not falling in. "15 seconds. Then we're moving on to the single leg kickstand. So same exercise, it's just that one heel is up. So you're sliding it down and then switching. Good, we have 1 minute here. Slide down, feel that tension, and squeeze. You want to feel the tension in the heel that is flat on the ground. You should feel it right here. "20 seconds. Good. You can put that weight down. Let me pause this. If you want to put a heavier band on, if you have it, now would be the time. You're going to do the glute bridge with the dumbbell, holding for 3 at the top. Then your feet go on top and you push your knees out and then squeeze them together. So we will start in 10 seconds. So you're doing a glute bridge, feet are on the floor, and you have a dumbbell. 3-second hold at the top. You are rolling it up, squeeze for 3. Making sure you keep your knees apart. You have 25 seconds. Good, feet are going on top of the bench. You do not need the dumbbell anymore. So really driving your knees out and then squeezing up. So pushing them out and then squeeze. Thirty seconds. Fifteen seconds. So Jenna, I want you to really drive them out as you're going down and then squeeze up. Yeah. Good. For the last thing, if you want to put on a lighter band, if it's available to you, you can. I'm going to pause this just for a second. We are doing the alternating lateral lunge and then the slide squats. So plant, sit it back, bring it together, plant, sit it back, bring it together. Make sure that you are not dropping your chest too much. Just sit, bring it together. If you want, you can reach your arms forward. That's usually helpful because that's the direction that your butt is going. And reach. "15 seconds. Good, and last thing, slide squats. So taking a step, together, step, together. Try to sit a little bit deeper if you can. Sit, bring it together. Sit, driving those knees out. If your band has a lot of resistance, take a smaller step, but still drive your knees apart. Ashley, make sure that you step and then that second leg comes to meet it. Nope. So step together, step together, together. Yep. All right, ladies, last thing, just to really burn it out, I'm gonna have you put your feet on top of the step. Keep your band on for 1 minute. We are just going to push against the band with your butt up in a bridge.
So drive it up. Make sure that you're not bringing your legs all the way together. Out, in a little, out, in a little.
"25 more seconds and then you are done. And you are done. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Leah.